It's Offside with Hawes and Maguire.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Offside with Hawes and Maguire. I'm Hawes.
I'm Maguire.
All right. You guys are going to figure this out eventually, but for now, let's crack them.
Let's crack them.
So, okay, first of all, we have a very special announcement to make. I got to tell you right now, a lot of people don't know this. It has not been announced. You're hearing it here for the very first time that we have officially joined the bid to buy the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot about that.
That's right. Yeah. We talked about it. We decided we're going to do it. We haven't let the actual bidders know yet, but there's not a chance they're going to say no.
No,
right?
No.
And just so you know, we are taking money from other people to contribute. We'll be minority owners. Let's face it. But the fact of the matter is, we are accepting your money, and we are going to buy it with our name. I'm gonna call in some favors, some guys I know. Who are a part of the bid, and we're in. I'm telling you, we're there.
And like Donovan Bailey, our
That's right.
favorite player will also be Mark Spezza.
You know what? That's the sad part. Is that
Oh, come on.
Is that
hey, that was the most comical thing.
Well,
anyway,
exactly.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers,
Good
yes.
to see you, man.
By the way, this is Redneck Lager we're drinking.
Yeah.
Ottawa made, Calabogie, actually.
Yeah.
Redneck Cafe. But what do you think of it? You
It's
like
in
it?
the Valley, man.
Yeah, it's in the
Calabogie.
Valley. I like it. It's
I
my favorite.
like
now.
it.
Yeah, it's a good lager.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
You see, everybody, it's Liam approved.
There you go.
Okay? And you know what? There's not much more you can get when you're talking about a beer is Liam approved. So, anyways, to that end, pretty interesting stuff happening aside from Donovan Bailey and the bid. We don't know the answer to the
Now,
bid.
Chris, hold on.
What? You have news?
I got a story for you.
Oh, okay.
It's story time.
Is it? All
Now,
right.
I can't fully
Should I curl up?
corroborate. Yeah, curl up like Lucy. Your dog.
Yeah.
Who's always in here with us. I can't corroborate yet.
Okay.
Okay? I just heard this, and it's too good
Not to
to
say.
be broken
Absolute-
on offside
Exactly.
with Hawes and Maguire. Now, it's got nothing to do with the bid or the NHL. It's got
Okay.
to do with world hockey.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Canada beat Finland today.
Yes.
All right? In the quarterfinals to advance. Now,
Who won the Sweden game? I didn't see the end.
Swedes lost, man.
Did they?
They lost to Latvia. Yeah, it's
Wow.
Latvia, Canada in the semifinal, and one of them, and the Americans are playing the Germans. Now, nobody knows what I'm about to say,
Okay.
but it's a cool story
I want to hear it.
from a Canadian perspective.
Okay.
So, again, I'm trying to substantiate who it was, but the story goes, allegedly,
Okay.
fairly reliable source,
Right.
that during the game, at some point, one of the intermissions,
Okay.
first or second intermission, the small contingent of Canadian fans that were scattered around the building, in one particular instance, a group of them were accosted by some Finnish fans.
And they threw down and kicked their ass.
They threw down.
Ha!
But the one who threw down was the father of one of the players on Team Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the story. Now I'm trying to.
Oh,
I
now
don't.
they're gonna, they're gonna paint that poor bastard into like the,
Look, the
what?
police came.
Yeah.
And broke it up, took everybody away, and so I said, any charges? They said no charges, but like I said, trying to substantiate it, to confirm, because the time difference over there, news emanating back from people who have consumed a massive amount of alcohol. And,
Are you talking about here or there?
Well, both. Be me later.
Yeah.
And the story goes that this father of a Canadian player, when the Finn said to him, "Do you want to go?" He said, "As a matter of fact, I do."
Yeah. You know what? Good
So,
for him.
Yeah.
And here's the
they
thing.
got into it.
The Finns, they're troublemakers. You know that?
Well, they're tough.
They are. And you know what?
Finns are tough.
There's a lot of Finns in Northern Ontario, right? I don't know if you knew.
Yeah,
that.
man, big
There's
time.
a
Thunder
ton of
Bay,
Finns,
right?
Yeah. Well, and
yeah,
Sudbury, and all
Yep.
over it. And I grew up with a lot of Finnish people, and it's some super nice people. But
Yeah.
I find that a lot of the, I'm not going to say, and I know he's Finnish, but he's a real a-hole. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I didn't like. Speaking of things, I didn't like a-hole last night. I thought he was a bit of a suck.
That's a nice,
nice
nice segue. Yeah.
I didn't like he was a bit. By the way, so we'll corroborate that story some way.
Yes,
We'll
I will
have
find out more about it. It'll be interesting to see if prior or on or before Canada plays Latvia in the semifinal.
Right.
Just 2 days from now, I guess. It'll be Saturday, whatever, late morning our time. I'm not exactly sure when they play the semis. if the story makes its way to mainstream or not. But I absolutely 1,000% guarantee you that no other outlet in the world has it.
Or are reporting it yet.
Yeah, now I can't. I didn't say the name only because
Yeah, you don't
it's
want
not, it's not fair to not, because I don't know for sure.
No, but even,
Who it
even
was.
So, even so,
But it did
we
happen.
don't want to make the guy feel bad. If he was defending himself,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
against some obnoxious guy,
Yeah.
I think you have every right. I mean, I'm not, the stand your ground guy. I'm not going to pull out a weapon.
Right.
But you know what? Nowadays we have too many people who think that they can be, we'll call them the modern day Karens,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
who actually, honest to God, you know what they need? A punch in the face.
Well, keyboard warriors is probably the most common name because we've become, in a lot of cases, a lot of people are anonymous on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
They are keyboard warriors because the joke, of course, they're in their mom's basement. I mean, they're literally though not coming out in the world anymore and would never confront you face to face.
No, but would they? If they did, and somebody, virtue signaling and all this other stuff, it's actually time for people to push back.
Yeah, it should be a green light, really. I think no charges laid, just drill them and have at her.
Well, as long as Now, speaking of charges being laid and the World Championships, okay, what did you think about the whole the skate incident?
Oh, it's brutal. Volano?
Yeah.
Oh, it's brutal. I mean, and he was leading our team in scoring, and he got kicked out for the rest of the tourney. It's interesting. I saw him in the room today. He was congratulating the Team Canada guys as they came off the ice after the win. So he's hung around, which I think is probably a good thing. He's publicly apologized. He's taken the 5 games. It's a black mark on him. It's uncharacteristic. He's never. This is a guy, by the way, Chris, who you probably remember. He got exempt status as an underage to play in the Quebec
No, I
League.
didn't remember. Okay.
Yeah, at 15 years of age.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his stock kind of fell off a little bit. He's in Detroit, the Red Wings. He got drafted late first round, I believe, somewhere late first round. But, he certainly isn't tearing it up like a lot of projections had him at 15 or 16. Having said that, he's not the first guy. There's a couple other guys, including in the O, who have got that early status to be able to play.
Right.
But, no, Chris, look. That was terrible. That was Matt Cook on Carlson.
It was. That's exactly what it was. The first thing that came to my mind.
It was just brutal. I don't understand. He just snapped, man. Just like Jamie Benn did. Like Jamie Benn snapped, got 2 games. I mean, look, that's the way it is in hockey. You can do things on the ice, get penalized or suspensions for you do in the street, you get arrested.
Let me
but
ask
that's
you
been
this.
like that for 120 years.
So let me ask you this: Jamie Benn gets 2 games, okay? Pietrangelo in the last series gets 1.
Yeah.
I thought that what Pietrangelo did was way more overt and downright friggin' asshole than what. Yeah, because here's what Ben was giving it to me. At the end of the day, I didn't think it was I'm trying to injure this guy, even though it didn't look good and stuff like that. But Pietrangelo was trying to injure, like he was Bobby Clarking him. He was giving him the Bobby Clark, Harlamov, kiss.
And Harlamov never missed a shift, sat out a game, played game 8. And so, again, how bad was the injury? Obviously.
Well, they said it was broken.
No, it wasn't broken.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was broken.
No,
and they jacked him up.
Urban legend. That.
Next, you're going to tell me Bobby Bonds didn't break his leg either?
Well, it wasn't a broken leg, no.
No?
No, it wasn't a broken leg. He had a fractured bone in his ankle, so obviously had a break.
Right.
What he did was remarkable, heroic, absolutely incredible story in NHL history. And he's scoring the winner to force Game 7. His was not a cup winner, but it was a winner in overtime to force Game 7 after he got carried off on a stretcher. I mean, look, it's a broken bone in the leg. Yeah. So is it a broken leg? But it was in the ankle area where he blocked a shot. It wasn't his leg, it wasn't his tibia or whatever, right? I mean, it was his ankle for Bond, and Harlamov's ankle was not broken.
Okay.
He never missed a shift. He sat Game 7 only because they had a lead in the series, and then he came back and played Game 8. He got an assist. He helped them set to 4 separate leads, which they blew, and we took over and won, and we kicked ass.
Now, are you familiar with the 72 series at all?
I remember watching it.
No, yeah. Okay, we're not going to talk about the 72 series right now. Last night was actually, in my mind, the slowest of the Panther Hurricanes games.
There was some tentative play.
Yeah. And but again, the stud Tkachuk comes through at the end.
I was thinking of you, actually. I was thinking of you on the stall penalty call with a minute. Yeah, because we just talked about it, and you said you hated those types of calls.
Yeah.
It was a chintzy call that, frankly, it didn't have to be made. If they don't make it and Florida loses that game, there's blue murder coming from the Panther side.
Right.
But the stick is there, and the guy goes down. If you don't call it, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I was thinking of you because it didn't affect the play.
That's right.
But the call probably
And
was
my thought
the right
is in the last minute of the game, okay, or very close, you put away the whistle.
Yeah,
and listen, and I'm not
typically NHL guys do.
And I'm not the Carolina. I'm not cheering for Carolina on that. But there were a few things that I didn't like about that. But that's me. I have a thing with referees. I think they should be better than they are. I think we need to hold them to a higher accountability.
Well, first of all, the fact that there is no accountability.
Right.
Certainly public or even through media or anything. It's like they're beyond reproach. You can't go near them. You can't do anything. You can't talk to them. Can't interview them. Never get a comment from them. Like the baseball umpire who blew the perfect game on a first base call there, went on in tears after post game saying I blew it, apologizing, everything else. Not saying we want that out of our officials, but I think in some instances we should have it.
I wouldn't mind a few tears from you.
Well, I think this.
You know what? No. You know what I would like? Humility. Like, we expect that in our players. One of the things that we love about hockey is that most players, we'll say PK Subban aside, okay, but most players have humility. Most players are polite. They're, you know what I mean? And you hear
that's because the majority of them are Canadian.
Well, I think
and we have that. It's innate in us to be that way. We'll hammer you, but then we'll be he is. No, he is. But look, there's an outlier for everything.
Right, absolutely. And he's a gregarious guy, and
he is.
And a lot of it is his showmanship, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But I mean, you look at that, and I expect a little bit of that built into the system. Now, I know that the NHL does not want to admit that their officiating is fallible in any way, right? Because as soon as they admit that, then they feel like they have given up control. It's almost like that. Like, honestly, it's like that. The principal of the school will never admit he made a mistake, or you know what I mean. Even though they may have done something wrong, or whatever it is, or let's even get worse. I won't even bring it up. I was going to bring up another large organization that did wrong things and didn't want to.
Canadian government.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, there's all sorts of examples. I know we go down a lot of different roads, but in terms of the officials, they've never been any scrutiny other than us after saying whatever. Fact is, the stick was there, the trip was made, it was a legit trip.
It was a legitimate
it wasn't
call,
a dive. You could still kill the penalty and get to OT rather than being scored on for 5 seconds. Interestingly enough, by the way, so it's the latest goal ever, right, to win a series.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, in regulation. They say there's one other game that ended at the 5-second mark, which nobody knows when it was except for me.
Okay.
I'm the only guy that knows that it was Nick Metz, Game 6, semifinals, 1942, Toronto Maple Leafs against the New York Rangers. And he scored the winning in the series, go up 3-2 in the game.
Yeah.
And so they won the series. They advanced to the final against Detroit. Interestingly, Detroit won the first 3 games. Toronto came back to win the next 4. That was the first time.
Okay.
First time that happened in NHL history. Best of 7s only started in 1939. So Nick Metz is the only other guy. Thing about Tkachuk last night, of course, now at the tenths of a second, we know it was 4.3. I saw 4.3, saw 4.9. I thought I remembered 4.8. I don't know exactly what it was.
You know what?
But it was 4 point something. It was
the
less
Russian
than
judge
5.
gave him a 5.
The Russian judge gave him a 5. Yeah, there you go.
There
you go. Speaking of bot officials.
Now, speaking of Russians, okay, Bob
takes me right back to 72, by the way.
Bob Borowski.
Yeah.
You know what? He actually was still amazing last night. I know they got 2 on him, but they weren't. They
got 3. I mean, they tied it up at 3.
They did, yeah.
And I mean, that tying goal, I thought, oh my God. Like, if there's one team you don't want to give a breath to, because we just talked about this last show.
Yeah.
Carolina could score all year. All of a sudden, they can't score. And they get 3 last night, like you just said, on the bobber, and they still, Tkachuk does what he's been doing all playoffs. He's got 4 game winners now, 3. It's amazing what he's doing. But Bob's a story, let's be honest.
For sure.
What he's doing is over 60 minutes, and I think Matthew's been more in the moment, heroic, obviously.
Yeah.
We've seen this show in the NHL before.
Yeah.
He's the latest to do it, but it's still remarkable every time you see it.
Oh, for sure.
And now we'll see what happens in the final. You never
Yeah.
know. I mean, there's been a number of goaltenders who've won a Conn Smythe Trophy on a losing team, starting with Roger Crozier in '66. So, it happens. So we'll see what happens here. But the game was tentative, though, to go back to your original point there a few minutes ago.
I found it that way. Now,
elimination game, eh?
Well, exactly, and nobody wants to make. I gotta tell you, I love how incredibly talented these kids are.
Yeah.
Like it. I mean, and I'm calling them kids because they are, right? But it is absolutely unbelievable the level of skill that they have beyond. Now, granted, they're practicing all year round. They're all growing up. They got all these things. It's not like they're going back to Turso in the summertime and drinking beer, and then showing up. You know what I mean? After having a great summer, to then work out. Because guys, when I was growing up, I remember
wouldn't touch the skates.
No, well, none of those guys.
Speaking
did.
of Thurso,
when I've told you this story before. When I was a kid, I was growing up, and it was the off season between Foligno's first year in the NHL.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's working construction. He's building a house down the street from us. Working on the crew. And so us kids, like, we tormented the poor bastard every day. You know what I mean? Hey, Mike, how you doing, Mike? Hey, Mike. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, but that's what he did. He went. He used to go to the Beef and Bird, which is I don't know if you know. It's
Topazzini's place.
Yeah, that's a Topper's place.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was, and he was just a local guy.
I did hockey trivia there.
Did you really?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good spot.
1999.
Good spot.
Yep.
Yeah. Still Boston Bruin guy.
Last guy to play a regular position and actually put the pads on in the same game.
Oh, really?
And go in and play net.
Really?
Yeah, last guy to do it. I believe for the Bruins.
Yeah.
I believe it was 60-61. I think he replaced Don Simmons in a game. Of course, no 2 goalie in those days.
Yeah.
You could get anybody, and Topper said, "I'll go in."
You gotta like him.
Did you ever meet him?
No. He was
absolutely out of it. He was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But so much fun. Him and I think it was his brother. Hey, that was Jerry and Zelio.
Yeah, and then they have there's cousins too.
Okay.
They own Topper's Pizza here in Ottawa. It's Topper's from Sudbury. They're Topazzini's.
No, it's
as well.
not.
It is.
Is
They're
it?
Topazzini's, yeah.
I never
They're
knew that.
Topazzini's, yeah. Keith.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever get it?
Do I ever get it? I was addicted to it when I had the club in Sudbury.
Holy
I was getting
cow.
it every day. I was. It was actually.
Oh, the pizza. I mean,
the pizza.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Wow. Okay, and now, to be fair, to answer that other question, no, I'm not getting it enough. That's for sure. Okay. I mean, when you look like this, you're just not doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey man.
I try. It's a lot of begging, but
It's all about the effort.
It is really about the effort. I actually saw this thing on the internet, and it was a woman who was a marriage counselor. She was saying,
Saw a woman on the internet.
yeah, I know, but she was talking about how if your husband is still showing you affection, you should be happy and excited because a lot of men don't. And I just want to let everybody know I still show affection, and I am willing. And I'm going to say this: my wife and I, we have this thing, a deal, right? You guys ever had this where if a celebrity came to town, you could
Oh, you have the
celebrity pass.
Yeah, the pass.
Yeah, celebrity pass.
Yeah.
So for me, it was Selma Hayek. If Selma Hayek comes to town,
Seems
I can
fair.
And for now, actually, after almost 40 years together, Chris is like, yeah, listen, if anyone comes to town, you just go ahead.
That doesn't sign up
She's
to
like,
be an owner of the
exactly,
Senators.
Yeah,
They're
You
going
just-
into bed with
yeah,
you, baby.
Exactly. That's you have anyone there. She doesn't even consider it cheating. She calls it strategic outsourcing. Right.
There you go.
So
There you go.
okay, now back to hockey, since you know that.
Couple of left turns.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
exactly. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. So what else are we gonna? Oh, Jamie Benn. Speaking
Jamie
of
Benn,
suspensions,
2 games. Hey, listen, I thought it was the right call. Now you were saying you didn't.
but no, I was saying I think that Pietrangelo only got 1.
Yeah.
I think that set a precedent. It should have been 1.
Well, okay, fair point. It's your opinion. I personally had no problem with Pietrangelo's as 1 or Jamie Benn's at 2. I think Jamie had the opportunity to not do what he did because the initial contact, Stone went down. He could have done 15 different things other than come right down with a cross check on the side of the head. Like, it just
I
looked
know.
brutal.
You're right. And you know what? It is what
By
it
the
is.
grace of God, he didn't shatter his jaw or do something worse.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe there was a measure of him not wanting to take the head clean off.
Right. Well,
But
and
he-
that's a,
you know.
that's a start.
Well, yeah. It reminded like Chris Pronger in 2007. It was like sending bodies 15 rows up and
I
getting
know.
1-game suspensions, and everyone's going like, "What do you got to do?"
But here's the thing.
Get suspended.
Listen, you gotta love Chris Pronger. I don't care.
Absolutely,
Like,
I did.
You know what I mean? I loved that he had that mean streak and
Yeah.
he had that tough.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
got. You know, I have got a lot of respect for, except for the fact that he's doing the friggin' gambling ads now too.
Well, I guess
They're all
they
doing
all
it.
are. I mean, what the hell? I get to wave the mighty dollar in front of them, and they say it's not illegal, so we're gonna pump it.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
all
you're right.
sports are allowing it and promoting it and endorsing it. So what the hell? You know? So
Yeah.
Pronger's gonna do it. These guys are all gonna do it. Starting with Wayne and Connor. I mean, really,
Well, so
can't
there
go
you
any higher than that. You
here's
go
the thing.
bring Bobby Orr
Okay,
in.
so there's one thing. Okay, one thing to have a retired player. An active player should not be. Friggin' Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose, like, you know, is ousted for betting on his own team, betting for his own team to win. He's like vilified after all these years. And yet Connor McDavid's still an active player. He shouldn't have been able to advertise. He shouldn't be able to be involved in the gambling aspect.
I would agree that the optics don't look good. I would agree.
But he can make it up to me by donating any money he earned off of that betting.
Yeah.
Okay. He can donate it to Offside with Hawes and Maguire. I'm Hawes,
I'm Maguire.
right? And so we will be able to, you know, just to keep this
This is
show running.
Redneck Lager.
Okay, so predictions for tonight.
Oh man, you know what? I mean, with no Ben and Dadnoff's out as well.
Yeah.
You know, I felt the guy I felt earlier this year was the worst player in the NHL by far this season. And in 15 games in the playoffs, he picks up 10 points. He's playing on that line with Wyatt Johnson really since the trade in February, I think the 26th. And he's played really well, and now he's out tonight too.
Yeah.
So you got him out, you got Ben out. I liked how DeBoer said, no, Ottinger's starting, Ottinger's. So he's going back to him.
Yeah, well.
But, you know, I mean, hey, dance with the one who brung you, right?
Absolutely.
And,
listen.
how's
I
Vegas
think-
losing tonight?
No, I don't see them losing.
Which
tonight.
means they probably will.
Well,
But, you know,
it's possible,
the
but
Celtics
I don't
pushed
see
it, but I won. But you know, because the 4 semifinals are all going to sweep. By the way, Florida's never swept before ever in their history. It's only
Well,
the second time they're in the final since '96. So it's been a hell of a run here for this team. But I mean, it's Cinderella, right?
Well,
Chris, right now
it is.
Eighth
No, it
seed
is.
for God's sake. This is Los Angeles in 2012.
Yeah.
I mean, this is New Jersey in 1995. Although it was a shortened season, it was 48 games.
Remember when Florida was in the first time they were in the finals? When they
Yeah.
got to the finals?
Remember
that
vividly.
was a Cinderella story too.
Really
right?
was, and they beat
Nobody-
your Bruins in the first round there
That's
too.
right. And nobody expected.
Bruins in 5, Flyers in 6, Penguins in 7, and then they got swept by
but-
Colorado. But
but-
those games were close,
And you know what? And that's the thing.
including triple overtime.
Nobody expects them.
Game
And so they've already they've already won. Right now.
They've won a lot of hearts, I
They've
think.
won absolutely, and they have
What
won
about, by the way, sorry, man.
No,
I
it's okay.
apologize for interrupting. Jumping all over the map here. But I wanted to get this in, too. The Bennett hit on Slavin, to me, epitomizes what the Panthers are all about. They're smash-mouth hockey with great goaltending. I mean, they're getting outshot almost 2-1. Like Carolina, I don't check the fancy stats, but Carolina dominated, I think anyway, zone possession. They dominated the shots. They dominated the slot chances. They dominated everything except the scoreboard.
Right.
Where you have
but
to.
Well, you were correct in saying that the Panthers were unrelenting on that forecheck.
Unrelenting
and they finished
forecheck.
their checks. And I was
Finished
talking
their
about
checks.
They finished their checks. Now,
Yeah.
now that one,
Love the
I'll
way
be
they-
honest with you.
Oh,
So
God.
my
I
thought
love the way
was
they play. Love it.
when Bennett hit him and he went down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And that
He was on eggs, man. He didn't know what planet he was
No,
on.
absolutely.
He's
You
such
know
a
what?
good defenseman, too.
I would have responded. I can't believe they never responded with that. You listen,
Yeah.
you've lost a good guy. And here's the thing. When you're coming in at that speed and you have a guy who's standing still, you're hitting, it's borderline charging, right?
Yeah.
Okay? It's borderline charging. And he knocked him off and into the boards. So it could have been a boarding call.
I
as
thought
well.
in the first period when they went after Tkachuk a little bit there at back of the net, I thought, here we go. Because, again, something you and I had talked about.
Right.
And I was really adamant and hard on Carolina, and I think rightfully so. I mean, look, the last 3 times they've been in the semifinals, they have not won a game.
No, that's right.
They're 0 for 12.
Yeah, 0 for 12. That's right. Yeah.
0 for 12 last 3 times. I know one of them was 2009, so it's kind of unfair to loop it in. However, you see trends. Now this is a team that won the Cup in 06. We'll go back and look at the formula. For one, well, look what Bobrovsky's doing. Well, he had a track record, 2 Vezinas. He's played brilliantly before. Cam Ward replaced a goaltender.
Was it an O'Neill was the other goaltender he replaced?
No, I think it was Gerber, I think. Or,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
But
Gerber.
yeah, Ward, he played phenomenally well.
Well, he won the Conn Smythe.
But that's what, you know what? That's what wins cups. That's what wins cups. You go back, and I mean, listen, remember when Philadelphia won? Who won the Conn Smythe? Bernie Perron.
Back-to-back years.
Right.
74 and 75.
You know?
And he was the story. There's no doubt about it. They had the LCB line, Leach, Clark, and Barber, Rick McLeish. They had 6D, who collectively had as many points as Bobby Orr in 1 month. And but they just absolutely played smash mouth. They had the Broad Street Bullies.
Did I ever tell you that
Schultz, Kelly, DuPont, Selesky.
That I played hockey with the NHL alumni and Moose DuPont, who scored the goal on Gilles Gilbert.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there at a table where and they're both they've had a few, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're arguing about that because Gilles Gilbert insists that the puck was tipped.
Right.
Right. And I think it was. When you look at the highlights, I think it was tipped. But Moose DuPont got the credit for the goal.
Yeah.
That won the cup for Philadelphia on that one. But it was actually one of the coolest things you could ever see. 2 drunk French Canadian hockey players.
They had to be swearing in French. They had to be.
Call in the bin.
I
haven't sworn today at all.
I know.
It's pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about
man.
myself. I am.
Know what they
all
say.
right.
A
Listen,
new
we got to
man
get the
deserves a
game's going to
drink.
start.
All right, let's
Game's
get
gonna
after
start.
it. Yep.
Okay, listen. So you say and I say both. Vegas.
I'm calling Vegas to sweep tonight, and I kind of hope they do. I know there's going to be a few days before the final starts.
But
if they stick to the schedule, maybe they move it up a bit. Who knows? I think it's scheduled for Tuesday. Maybe they move it up. However, I can't wait. If that's who it is.
Well, it's great hockey. It's gonna be phenomenal.
It's irresistible force meeting the immovable object, and I think we're in for a real treat. If you've hung around and watched it all, I think it just could.
Well,
be
that actually, you know what that sounded? That almost like was Man from La Mancha like.
Yeah.
I'm bringing up the musicals all the time, Leon.
I know. I think there's a side of you I'm not familiar with.
Oh, absolutely.
If you start talking about 7 brides for 7 brothers or something, you know, I mean.
Listen.
Now, look, I love the movie for that big barn fight. That's the only way my dad got me to go, okay? 1971, Liam, there's a big fight. All right, Dad.
You know what? Hey, listen, when they get a team in Oklahoma, then we'll do the Oklahoma thing.
There you go.
Okay. In the meantime, this has been Offside with Hawes and Maguire. I'm Hawes.
I'm Maguire.
G'day.
G'day.